What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27.
Good as night, right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating a drink. Look at a damn mess, just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good? What's up, people? What's up? It's me, I'm L Teddy 27, and I am back again today. Listen, we don't have tons of videos today, but we're back for another review, though. Today is going to be our review for Greenleaf, Season 5, Episode 5, and it is entitled The Fifth Day. The Fifth Day. Let's get right down to it, because y'all know it'll be a whole lot going on. We start off with Grace waking up Sophia, okay? Sophia is asleep. She's supposed to be up getting ready for this Sunday service that May done planned. Homegirl's like, I ain't going. Grace is like, oh, yes, she going. She was like, well, I'll go to the little brunch afterwards, but I don't really see it for the church service. So I'm going to do the family part, not the faith part. Grace was like, you're a Greenleaf. The family does involve the faith, so you got to go. So she makes her get up and go. Then she starts to get this string of texts, because she had talked to Grace about the fact that she had been up all night texting with some girls from Hampton. Y'all know that's where she's supposed to go to school. So she had been talking to these girls about Hampton University, from Hampton University all night, texting back and forth about, how excited she was and all the shenanigans they got going on there. And so after Grace left and she was supposed to get up and get dressed, she starts to get these string of text messages. We'll talk about what those are in a little bit. We then see Carissa. Now, Carissa is still trying to salvage this marriage, okay? Jacob don't want no parts of it. So she asks Jacob, she says, well, Jacob, are you good to go with, letting Zora know and, telling Zora what's going on with us or about the divorce after church service? Jacob was like, I sure am. Child, she's not well with this. You can tell she does not want to go through this, but she's just doing it anyway. At this good church service, Annie, Carissa keeps having all of these, outbursts and everything, bringing everybody down. Everything May say, she's going to be a Debbie Downer and say some mess that's just going to bring everybody down. Make her say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I sure wish she would have made a better one. Just all kinds of disrespectful stuff while this lady is trying to preach. Anyway, let me say this, and this is going to come out harsh, and I know we're going to get in the comment section and argue about this. But if I'm just being honest, I don't see it for May as a preacher. I see it for May being a great missionary, somebody that could go to somebody's house and talk to them and different things like that. I don't see it for May as a preacher in the pulpit like that. I just don't. It doesn't come off believable for me. But that's just me, honey. We're going to keep it moving. Bishop has to interject and tell both Carissa and Jacob, cut this shit, okay? Y'all little antics that y'all got going on over here. Y'all bringing us down, okay? After the service, Sophia, and they having a little brunch. So Sophia ends up telling Zora how her titties that landed all over Hampton University's campus, and one of the guys that goes to Hampton is good friends or follows the basketball player and did screenshots of her titties before they was deleted. Girl child, they done sprawled them things all across Al Gore's good internet and all down to Hampton University's campus. Shouts out to my boy giving you the real tea, Terrence, who went to Hampton University. Anyway, Corinne is getting texts from her grandmother who's at Calvary, Harmony and Hope, last church service. And she's telling them all about how horrible it is and how horrible Judy is and so forth. And that is really, depressing and bringing her down because it's just a mess over there. May then tells the bishop, listen, I'm going over here to go see this Tara chick because I need to talk to her myself because the last time you went and Jacob went and talked to her, this shit ain't end well. So we need a woman's touch to go down here and make shit right. Okay. May say she's going to fix it. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it like you said you would. Carissa and Jacob are still fighting back and forth during the brunch. They're a whole ass mess. Just a whole ass mess. Bishop and Jacob start to talk and have, these great conversations. So Bishop was like, I can't understand why people like to tear things up. And so AJ was like, well, you know, the doctor and I was talking when I was at the hospital, and the doctor said sometimes people like to break things up because they like to break things apart to see how things were built and to see, you know, what's inside and how they were made. So Bishop says, hold that thought. Come walk and talk with me. So him and Bishop go. Next we see May down to Tara's church. Now she done went down there. And her and Tara going back and forth. And she said, well, why are you coming out to my house? And Tara told her, listen, your house could do some real good. It could be a shelter for foster kids, or it could be, you know, housing for women who are victims of domestic violence. It could go a long way for my ministry and different things like that. Because May had said to her, well, haven't you thought bigger? Don't you think bigger than what you see right here? And I guess she took her cue from there and said, well, yes, I see bigger. Your house is bigger, boo. Your house is bigger. I can do a whole lot more at your house than I can in this little storefront right here. And so May looks at her like, well, God did tell me new beginnings. They go from there. Bishop and AJ go out to, you know, the little shed or garage, wherever they was at. So there's this big box there. And Bishop tells AJ this story. Now, I don't know how much of this story I believe. Because Bishop, you way too old and have way too much money to not have had that car built by now. But he says his dad gave him this box when he was a teenager and told, because he wanted a 1964 Pontiac GTO burgundy red. And says he looked at it, and since it wasn't already together, he had to put it together himself. He never did it. And he was like, and so I'm thinking really, that had to be like 40, 50 years ago, probably closer to 60 years ago at this point. And you still ain't did nothing with it. So he said, I don't even know how to fix cars. AJ said, I don't know how to fix no cars either. I don't know about no cars. And so Bishop is trying to make a connection with his grandson. Well, technically it's not his grandson, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And said, listen, if you help me build this car, you can have it. I'll give it to you. And so that's their way of uniting right there. Grace and Noah are talking. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, Grace and Noah told us about how when they had the consecration day, when they consecrated the church the first time, the Calvary that they are tearing down had service or was open, Grace got bust down by Noah on that day and got her virginity broken. Baby, she got her womb plowed, honey, child. She got her box beat in. So when they was breaking in the new church, Noah was breaking in her cooch and breaking her hymen, honey. So all through the episode, that's all they kept talking about is Noah breaking her virginity and plowing her guts down there to the consecration service for the church. Anyway, so they're in Grace's room and she updates him on everything that's really been going on with the house and with Harmony and Hope and everything that Darius had found and all of that other stuff. He updates her on how Noah's first night was, not Noah, how AJ's first night was at his house. And then she talks about how she's just very tired. She hasn't been sleeping well. And so he lays this pillow on his lap. And she was like, you trying to turn this into another consecration service? He was like, no, you just need to get some rest. So he convinces her to lay down and rest. While she's laying down, getting ready to go to sleep, he tells her, listen, when I stayed back there in the back cottage, I often would, I found these journals. And in those journals, the groundskeeper, who was white, talked about this black man that would come and see Mrs. Davis, who is also white, and talked about how this Miss Davis see it for the black man. Now, I think it was alluding to the fact that Miss Davis was also getting bust down. Miss Davis liked to have some black pink. She wanted a Mandingo warrior to throw her from wall to wall, honey. So that's a whole nother story, honey. We then, so she was like, well, maybe that might help us, you know, with everything they got going on to keep the house. So she's determined to go find this information, but she goes to sleep on his lap right there, honey. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Noah is not bad on the eyes. He's not. I probably would have gave him some. I'm just saying. In a weak moment. I mean, it really didn't have to be a weak moment. But I still would have gave him some. Whatever. Don't judge me. Corinne tells Charity, because she's still getting texts from the grandma. So she tells Charity all about the antics of Phil and Judy down there. The fact that they had a whole wrecking ball come down to the church and they got construction hats and taking selfies in front of the church before it gets demolished. Just a whole mess. Just a whole ass mess. Jacob and Carissa talk to Zora. They tell Zora, listen, we're getting a divorce. Zora goes in on Jacob, talking about how it's Jacob's fault, this, that, and the third. And Carissa basically said, listen, we both have missed the mark. We both caused this. And Zora is really in her feelings then. And she just, but before that, I forgot to mention that. Before that, Jacob, and because I wanted to get this part out of the way, Zora was taking care of, what's Charity's baby name? Zion? I think it's Zion or whatever. Now, and so baby Zion with Sophia. Now, I don't understand why his mammy can't get him. Go with your mammy, okay? Your mama over there doing everything else in the world but taking care of her goddamn child. Now, she's the only mama I done seen on any show that never want to take care of her damn child. Everybody else, Marisol taking care of the child, Zora taking care of the child, everybody taking care of the child except her. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? Where the hell is Kevin? Anyway, we're going to leave that right there. So, but they told Zora. Zora got all up in her feelings or whatever. Zora storms out and Zora says, you know what? I'm not here for this. Because Carissa admitted. Carissa also tells Jacob, listen, we supposed to be going to tell Winky tomorrow at a child psychologist's office because the child psychologist is going to help us break the news to him. But Zora told him, listen, I will give up all of this and we can go back to being together and I'll let all this go. But once we go to this child psychologist and tell Winky, that's it. It's no going back because I'm not going to put my child through all of that for nothing. So Jacob was like, okay, girl, I'm here for it. That's what's going to happen. That's what we're going to do. Just a mess. Charity called Phil's dad. Phil's dad told her, boo, you got 2 minutes. That's all you got. She tries to talk to Phil's dad about and ask him what's going on, tell him everything that's going on, and ask him about what Phil's mom did with eating Bill Linda. He said, boo, I let you live, and I kept you on here longer than 2 minutes. Your time is up. Click. Hung up the phone. Bishop and AJ, they talk about, after they came out from the shit, they was talking about what, building the car, and he was making this metaphor about religion and Jesus to the car, and, it's not, always fixed up. He was making this metaphor, and, I guess he was trying to, lead AJ to the point where, he might, find salvation. In the interim, in the middle of them talking about that, May comes home. May comes home and ceremoniously tells Bishop, I think we should give the house to Tara. And Bishop is dumbfounded like, bitch, I know you the fuck lying. The fuck, wait, we giving the what to who? Girl, boom, honey, boom, 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 honey. Sophia is downstairs talking to AJ. While all of this going on with Carissa talking to Jacob and Zora and Bishop talking to May. Sophia's down there talking to AJ. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Sophia tells AJ that, all the stuff that's going on in Hampton. AJ gave her the best advice. AJ said, hey, boo, you still going, right? Because you need to go. If you don't go, you're going to end up like these people who are grown-ass adults stuck living at home in their parents' house. And I was like, thank you, AJ. Thank you. Because I don't understand how grown-ass people still stand up in their parents' estates. And I don't care how big your parents' house is. Bitch, go get your own house. Grace got hundreds of thousands of dollars and still in the bank account and still living at her parents' house, which I don't understand. Carissa, you supposedly is the principal or headmaster of this lucrative, private school, but you still living at your husband's parents' house and y'all strung up for money. Get your lives in order. Charity, I ain't gonna even go down that road. Anyway, he gave us some great advice. We don't end up like these people here. Go away and stay away. Be grown. I was here for it, AJ. I was here for it. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention, when AJ was telling her, so that's all this keeping you here, just some titties on Al Gore's good internet. And she said, what if your dick was all over the internet? And I was like, what if it was? Because I would be kind of here to see what the hell AJ is working with. I mean, call me a whole ass whore, and I am. I'm here for seeing what AJ got going on because it might help him look better in my estimation. If I found out that he's built like a tripod down there. If I found out he's built like a tripod down there with 3 legs, I'm here for it. I want to see what he got going on, because he does look like he has a nice body. I ain't gonna lie, he look like he got a nice body. The face ain't all that. Them dreads ain't doing it for me. But the neck down look like it might be right. So, Jesus be some groupie or some ex-girlfriend with some good dick pics in her phone and let them get littered all over Al Gore's good internet. The internet. Anyway, Noah and Grace talk. And so I told y'all how Noah told Grace all about these journals that he had found. And so Grace was going down to go get these good journals. So Grace goes down to the cabin. Zora don't went to the cabin. She talked to her parents. She's crying. She's broke down. She's busted, disgusted, crying, looking at old pictures and stuff. And, she's just out of her sorts. Grace comes by in the middle of all this. Grace says, girl, you all right? What's going on? Da, 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 da. I'm all right, honey. Don't worry about me. What do you need? And so she was like, oh, I'm looking for these journals. Oh, all that old stuff is in there. Go ahead and get it. I ain't got it to do right now. I'm not in a good mood. Get away from me. Go do what you got to do. Grace goes in there, finds the little journals from the little groundskeeper. And we're going to see what information, probably next episode, that she finds from these journals that she found. Bishop and May, meanwhile, are over there arguing because I forgot to mention, when Noah was talking to when Noah was talking to Grace about the journals in the cabin and how it talked about Daryl James in this journal, Bishop comes in and Bishop said, I need to talk to Grace. So Noah leaves and he tells Grace, listen, your mama done came up in here talking about she want to get this good house to this girl, Tara. We need to find a way to get her off of this. So I think if we can give her a large sum of money, that'll get her sights off of the house and we don't have to worry about this no more. So Grace says, well, how much money do you need? He says, how much money do you have? Meaning whatever you can give, we need to get her. So Grace says, okay. So Bishop and May are now arguing. They get in the room and argue about whether or not they should take the money from Grace to save the house, or whether they should just give the house to Tara. May wants to get a house to Tara. Bishop said, we need to keep our house. So they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Charity comes in and interrupts and says, listen, y'all got all this back and forth going. They about to tear down Calvary. We need to go on over here. We need to go and take it in one last time. And she was like, well, I don't want to say goodbye. She's like, May, like, I don't want to say goodbye. And Charity's like, we're not going to say goodbye. We're going to say thank you. And so she convinces them to go down to the church. They go down to the church. They have, this whole little moment and everything. They hold their hands. Charity apparently had an extra key to get in. But apparently, these dumb people did not change the alarm. Am I the only one who's thinking, isn't there an alarm system? And why would you not change the alarm system code when you had to take the keys from the associate pastor? I'm just asking, but it's television. Anyway, so they have this whole moment, and Bishop ends up acquiescing and saying, you know what, May, you can give her the house if you want to. And then May says, it's not if I want to, it's if he, meaning God, Jesus, wants to. So the next thing we see, Bishop and May going down to Tara's little church or whatever to tell her that they're giving her the house. Girl, they walking up, they talking about Jacob and Carissa and the fact that, Carissa says she'll come up off this if Jacob do right. And the fact that we don't know what Jacob gonna do. He probably ain't gonna do the right thing, this, that, and the third. And we need to try and convince Jacob to do the right thing. Whatever. Baby, they knock on that good door. Tara opens the door, opens it wider. And who's there? Standing there? Rochelle. Pick up your chin off the ground. Rochelle is waiting right there. Now, I think we all knew Rochelle was going to be waiting in the wings. We knew Mama Girl had to come back. It was, they weren't going to let it go that easy, honey. You knew Rochelle was behind the scenes. And baby, it went off from there, honey. Baby, Bishop and May looked dumbfounded. I bet you y'all ain't giving her no house. Nah, not with Rochelle there, honey. And baby, that was it, honey. I mean, the episode was real regular up until that last little part with Rochelle. It was real regular up until that point. But we're going to see what they got in store for us come next week. Because now that Rochelle is back, y'all already know. When that woman comes in town, high drama follows. So I am here to see all that Rochelle has to bring to us down to the Greenleaf, sonny. That's all we got. Let's get down in the comment section. I really want to know what y'all think about, May, and whether or not y'all see it for May as a preacher in the pulpit. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.